the last few Sundays we've been having a long series of gospel readings, and yet I think most of us priests have been using the shorter version of the gospels. And so we haven't fully captured what was really happening in there. While I was reading this account of the resurrection of Lazarus, I was reminded of a story a priest once shared. He shared about this incident that took place, a terrible accident which took place, where a young boy went into coma. The doctors tried their best. They did everything that medical science could do, and the boy was still not able to come out of that coma. Yet the family was a family of prayer and faith. Once when they were gathering together around this boy, the mother bent over. She leaned over to his ears and she whispered, "My son, if you can hear me, come back to us. We are waiting." These words went into the very soul or the depths of the boy. Initially, there was no reaction, there was nothing happening. But all of a sudden, they see a tear drop from the eyes of this boy. And suddenly, his fingers, his hands start to move. The voice of love reached where medicine or science couldn't reach. Life responded to love, calling it back. I think this story is a beautiful way of entering into this gospel that we have just heard of Lazarus being raised from the dead. We've all had experiences, or we know someone who's lost their dear ones, and we know the pain that it carries. And this was not the first time that Jesus had raised someone from dead. If you read the other Gospels from Luke or Mark, you hear of how Jesus had already raised a young boy. Again, it was a widow who had lost her son, and Jesus raised him up. And there was this other girl, the young girl, the Jairus' daughter, whom Jesus raised from the dead as well. And yet none of those resurrection experiences had caused any turmoil as much as it did when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. Why was this experience or this incident different to the other resurrections? Wasn't it still someone being brought back from dead? To understand that, it would be good to get into the Jewish understanding of death. In the Jewish understanding or tradition, it is believed that once a person dies, the soul of the person remains around the body, like hovering over the body for about 3 days, where it is trying to re-enter the body. And so in those accounts where Jesus had raised the young boy or Jairus' daughter, it was probably believed that they were still alive, maybe like something like the modern day coma, where the person was still alive, or maybe the soul was still around, and so there was a chance for them to come back to life. And so it didn't cause much of a disturbance to the people or the Romans. But this case, this was the 4th day. And we hear, it is very strange when you hear this account where we hear about how Jesus loved Mary and Martha and Lazarus. And when he heard about the death or the sickness of Lazarus, he stayed for 2 more days. You would think he actually would have run towards Lazarus because he loved them so much. And we are given the explanation of why Jesus stayed longer, because he didn't want them to see him just as any other prophet. He's not just this miracle worker who's just like walking around with a wand, healing people and curing them of their sicknesses. But he wanted them to see the reality that he was Christ. He is the resurrection and his life. And so we hear Jesus himself say that Lazarus is dead, and for your sake I am glad that I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go and meet him. And so Jesus goes to meet Lazarus, and the disciples are worried because just few days ago he was about to be stoned, and he just escaped to this different place where he could be safe. and now he's returning back to Jerusalem, towards Bethany. And so as he comes to Bethany, we see the grief of Jesus. He's not someone who's just going straight to the work. He's not like, okay, I'm God, I'm here, guys, don't worry, let's get this going. Let's get the grief out of the way. I'm here, don't worry, it's all good now. He meets us in the grief. He comes and he waits at the place where all the mourners were. He meets Martha, he meets Mary. He sits with them in their grief. He consoles them and he reminds them that he is the resurrection and the life. And if they believe, he's able to bring life into their life. And so Jesus brings this life. He gives that hope, first of all. He brings that hope to them. And we hear when Jesus comes to the tomb, this very short verse in the Bible, just 2 words. When he came to the tomb, Jesus wept. John 11:35, just 2 words, Jesus wept. You would think, what's wrong with him? Didn't he know that he was going to raise him up? Didn't he know that he had the power to bring life? Why should he cry? Why is he being childlike? Jesus truly was human, truly God. He experienced the grief as much as we all experience. He was able to be there in the grief of his brothers and sisters. He felt that grief himself. And the Greek word says that he was moved in the very being of himself. He was shaken. It came out of the very depth of his core. He cried with a loud cry. And that's when the Jews said, oh, look how much he loved him. Couldn't he have stopped this from happening? Couldn't he have healed his dear friend? He healed the blind, he raised the others. Why couldn't he have stopped this from happening? And Jesus is deeply moved again, and he comes, when he's at the tomb, he tells, take away the stone. And funnily enough, Martha, who previously was saying, if you were here, this wouldn't have happened. But even then, I believe, if you ask, anything is possible. Everything is possible to you. And when Jesus asked to remove the stone, she's the one again to say, oh, no. Let's not take that stone away. It's going to stink. It's going to smell. It's been 4 days. That's not a good idea. How many of us have been in the same situation? We've asked for a miracle. We've asked for something very needy for us, and we've decided something to happen. And yet when Jesus asks us to do something, we step back. We say, oh, that's too much. That's very confronting. I don't think we should be going there. Let's put it there. Let's put that stone right there. I don't think it's a good idea to smell what's behind that. And Jesus again reminds them, didn't I tell you, if you believe, you will see great things happening. And so they remove the stone. And again, Jesus cries out after he prays to the Father. He cries out, Lazarus, come out. This is a bit comical. The Jews, they don't have embalming and all that happening. The bodies are not really preserved like the Egyptians, where they mummify the bodies and it is intact. It has been 4 days, the body is already rotting, it's probably falling apart. And this poor guy is wrapped up in all these burial cloth. And Jesus is asking him to come out. He asked the people to remove the stone. Couldn't he have asked, go bring him up, let's unbind him and set him free? Jesus is asking the dead man to come out. Jesus is asking us who are dead spiritually, come out. He's calling us out of our graves. Jesus is demanding a response from us. He's not wanting us to be passively sitting there waiting for someone to come and help us. playing the victim, saying, oh, I've been through bad stuff. People have done bad things to me. I can't do anything. Only God has to help me. Yes, it's only God who can help us, but we need to respond to his call as well. Jesus calls Lazarus out, and the dead man comes out with his hands and feet bound with bandages and his face wrapped with a cloth. You can only imagine the dead man walking through the dark, climbing the stairs. I don't know how he made it out, but he made it out. Thanks be to God. He was out, and then Jesus says, unbind him, let him go. That's when we come into the picture. The dead man has done his part. He's come out of the grave. Now we as a community look around to our brothers brothers and sisters who have been through difficult situations, immoral life, whatever it is. They have lived a bad life, but now they've turned back to God. They have come out of their grave. Are we still letting them sit with their burial cloths and continue to judge them and tell these people do not deserve to be here? They need to go back to the grave. Or are we ready to help them? Let me help you unbind you. Let me help you take off those burial cloths so that you may truly live a resurrected life. Dear brothers and sisters, today we hear of how the Lord grieves with us. In the Psalms, we hear in Psalm 56:8, you have kept account of all my tossings. You have put my tears in your bottle. The Lord sees our grief. He sees our worries. He sees our pain. And in his own compassion, he shows that compassion often prepares us for the resurrection. So during this Eucharist today, we are called to be that compassionate one, to be that merciful one, that we may also look with mercy and kindness to our brothers and sisters, that we may look with mercy and kindness to ourselves as well, that we may be bold enough to open the grave. We may move that stone and allow God to meet us in that yuckiness, in that smell, in that stink. Let him call us out of our graves. So to finish off, I would like to give you 4 R's. The first one, remove. Remove the stone from your lives. You know what it is. You know those areas in your life where you have put a good bulky stone and you've said, that's my past. I don't even want to go there. I don't want to deal with it. It could be bitterness, unforgiveness. It could be sinful patterns or whatever it is. Trauma, unforgiveness, anything that you can think of. Remove that stone so that the Lord can bring forth that miracle that you have been waiting for. Secondly, respond. We hear about how Jesus called Lazarus out of the grave. He had to do his bit before the others could help him. He's calling us to respond. Have you been living your Christian life faithfully? Or have you been saying, oh, it's too hard, Sundays are too much, I've got games, I've got this, I got parties happening, or it's raining heavily, cyclone is coming, I need to stay home. Jesus is asking you to respond. Come to church. Live out your faith boldly. Are you able to witness to the truth? Are you able to call out people who are not living a moral life? If it is you yourself, are you ready to face it and say, Lord, I'm sorry. Go to confession, go to Mass, receive the Eucharist, be nourished by him. Thirdly, release. Are you contributing in that unbinding, the release of our brothers and sisters? Or are you being judgmental and being so very biased about people around you or even about yourself? Allow God to work through